Now you graduated, went to first group. How was your experience over there?
It was great, man. It was first group, just like 10th group, had the group headquarters was in Fort Lewis, Washington.
Mm-hmm.
So you had 2nd and 3rd Battalion there. The 1st Battalion was over in Okinawa.
Okay.
So I go to the 2nd Battalion.
Gotcha.
Because I was a Korean speaker.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, first group was different in the sense that 2nd Battalion was the cold weather battalion. And 3rd Battalion and 1st Battalion did everything else. So
Gotcha.
they did Philippines, Thailand, Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, all that stuff.
Gotcha.
So as a Korean speaker, I went to 2nd Battalion, and I was like, don't get me wrong, the cold weather, man, but So we did Korea, Montana, Utah, Alaska.
Yeah.
And then when they give you something warm, they give us JRTC. I'm like, hold up, man. Like, I want to go,
Yeah.
like straight up for real.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, we was a cold weather battalion, man. And but it was funny because when I was over there, I remember some of the skis that we had.
Mm-hmm.
I saw some names on the skis from 10th group guys I knew.
Oh, nice.
So at one point, 10th group must have allowed transfer some of the equipment over to first group. Right?
Yeah.
So in first group, I was on I started off in the mountain team, and then we were a MOS team also.
What's a MOS?
Movement over snowy terrain.
Oh, I gotcha.
So we did the snowmobiles, the Akio, stuff like that. So
sounds like good times, man.
yeah, it's But back then we always fight the last war.
Mm-hmm.
So we come out of Desert Storm. SR was big.
Yeah.
Special reconnaissance. For
Yeah.
those of you guys, if I drop an acronym, I'm gonna try to spell it out.
Gotcha,
So cats
gotcha.
will know. So special for reconnaissance was huge. In the Gulf War, SF teams were sitting building high sites, looking at targets, looking at trying to find stuff like that. So our mission was for, mainly Korea, and so we were always looking for Scud type stuff.
Gotcha.
So we practiced a lot of SR, sitting in surveillance sites and stuff like that. And this is the 90s, right? So there's no war going on actively, right? And so also another good mission for us at that time was a thing called JTF-6, counter drug missions.
Gotcha.
So, and that was cool. So we would go, I did one in California and I did one in Arizona. Mm-hmm. So we would go on the border, put height sites up, and look at drug interdiction routes. Now, because of legal legalities, they got a law called a posse comitatus.
Gotcha.
As on the domestic side, the military can't arrest or do police actions, right? Because of that law.
Yeah.
So what we would do is we would work in conjunction with the Border Patrol or the police. And so we'd be fully armed to death, you know what I'm saying, in case anybody fuck with us. But at the same time, we couldn't make arrests or engage and stuff like that. So we would coordinate with the local Border Patrol who we were working with.
Gotcha.
But it was a lot of surveillance type stuff. So those were good missions also. And we did a lot of Korea stuff, man. Back then, they each had these big exercises called full legals. And back in the day, you had the big one. 3rd Battalion did Cobra Gold in Thailand. We did the full legal over in Korea, and the same thing. Put teams in full isolation, brief back to the commander, and infield for SR or something like that. So
gotcha.
It was, but all of that foundation as an SF guy was like, okay, this is SF stuff, right? We did a lot of JSETs, right? Let me back to that real quick. In SF, Special Forces, we have a lot of, we're not mastering all, but we have a lot of skills.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And the biggest thing you gotta know as a Special Forces soldier is you're gonna be working with a partner force. You're gonna be training somebody. And some guys like, I don't want to train nobody. I want to shoot people in the face, which is cool, right? Yeah. That's our capability as a Special Forces, the ability to work with a partner force, to train those dudes to be a force multiplier on the battle space, right?
Yeah.
And it's funny, man, when I ran the commando mission in Afghanistan for 2 rotations, we went to a ramp-side ceremony of a ranger who got killed. So for those of you who don't know, ramp-side ceremony is that service member got killed in country. In country, they take the body, put him on that plane, and fly him home. As they take the body to the plane, like everybody's out there with their berets on, just showing respect, right? Truly respect. And so the Rangers, I think it was 1st Ranger Battalion. Anyway, some of the guys like, you guys fight with those dudes? Our African commandos.
Yeah.
Because it's just your team.
Yeah.
And I got my commandos. I had like 90 dudes, right? And I'm like, yeah. They're like, hey, ain't that kind of dangerous? Like, you know,
It's part of the job.
that's our job as an SF dude is to train these guys, and you know, they gonna take the fight to the enemy. We gonna be right there with them, advising them on the battle space with them.
Yeah.
So, you know, and it's funny, you know, a lot of guys, you know, nowadays, you know, now that we're not kinetically fighting, but SF always has a mission.
Yeah.
For our mission set, we're always training dudes. You know what I'm saying? We do stuff left before the bang. You know what I'm saying? We're actively, you know, got guys on the ground doing all kind of, you know, clandestine missions, stuff like that. It's not always shooting people in the face. Yeah. That's a part of it. We can do that, right? But that aspect of training with the partner force was great, and I've always loved that, man. Because you know, I've worked with, you name it, man, Filipinos, Malays, Thais, Koreans, Afghans, Africans. You know, and it's pretty cool to see a partner force take what you train them with and build up towards to actually doing combat operations with them. Yeah. And so, and that's a different type of level of training. I work down at Joint Special Operations University. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But one of my courses in leadership is we're looking at partner force leadership. Yeah. Because that's not taught in Ranger School. No. That's not taught in BUD. You know what I'm saying? But in SF, particularly that's in our DNA. How do you work with that partner force to do all that stuff? And you've always heard the term by, with, and through, right? You heard that. Like, you know, when you really break that term down, a good mentor of mine, Chief Duclos, a good personal buddy of mine, told this to me one day and broke it down. So when you talk about the width and through, particularly, the width is building width on the battle space and building that partner capacity. So when we work with the Afghans, we work with the commandos, they look like us. We train them our TTPs. They fought like us. They were broken into companies, right? I'm saying strike forces, platoons, whatever, right? Yeah. And so that width on the battle space, when I went to that battle space owner, right? Hey, I got 120 Afghan commandos. Like, cool. I need you guys over here where I'm kind of thin at, right? Yeah. So we bring that force multiplication on the battle space. Yeah. That's the width, right? The through is when you working with, when you working through a person or through an asset or through your partner force who has the access and placement to where you can't get. Yeah, like going in a village. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that gives us our depth on the battle space. Yeah, we're working through those people to do certain missions and stuff like that. So the buy is like, okay, we did it unilaterally by ourselves, right? Yeah. You know, so like, you know, I got this awesome belly by smashing donuts, right? I did that by myself, right? That's what it is, right? So we talk buy, with, and through as an SF guy. As an SF, you know, you really have to look at those different components of what they actually mean. Yeah. So that's what, you know, the uniqueness of being a special forces guy. Yeah. And I always like the movie, what's that dude, man?
Rambo.
Not Rambo. Rambo, he badass, right? But what's the one, Apocalypse Now?
Apocalypse Now, yeah. Captain Kirk, is it?
Colonel Kurtz, you know, Colonel Kurtz went native with his dudes, right? Yeah. But it's that warrior king mentality. When I had my dudes, that I, you know, my Afghan dudes or whatever.
Oh, dude, we used to live with those dudes.
Yeah. I mean, bro, they would die for me, man. Yeah. But that warrior king mentality, man, I like that. It's a different challenge.
It's just such a unique mission. Yeah. And like at no point in time did I ever want to switch and do something else because it was always a challenge. Yep. It was always something different. Yep. And the shooting people in the face part always came. Yeah. But I wasn't a one-trick pony. Yep. I can do a bunch of different. I could plan. I could train. Yep. I can execute. Yep. Like there's just so much that you can do as an SF guy to where it never got boring.
And that's a good point you say that because as an SF guy, and I've worked anywhere from a student tie in embassy, briefing ambassador, to leading a night raid with commandos, and everything in between. Yeah. Everything in between. It's like. It's always something because as an SF guy, you can I want to be I want to be a Sephardic dude, right? Yeah. You can go down that road. I want to be a sniper dude, right? You go down the road. I want to be a sky guy. Yeah. I want to be a scuba dude. It's so much you can do. You can do.
Yeah, you choose your venture essentially.
Literally, which I want to be a mountain guy, right? Yeah. So so it always kept the job challenging. It always kept the job interesting. And for me, man, I'm as you know, I'm a people person. Yeah. So I've always got along with and I've always, try to understand their culture. Yeah. We're in the Philippines, man. Right after 9/11, we went to the southern Philippines, and it was called OEFP, right? A lot of people don't know about that story, but the Philippines, they had a group called Abu Sayyaf. They were a Muslim group in the southern Philippines. They were kidnapping people and holding for ransom, and they had some American hostage at that time. And so, the southern Philippines had never been truly, I guess, colonized or conquered from the Spanish when the Spanish had the Philippines. When we got the Philippines from Spain, right, those kind of southern islands were all kinds of autonomous. They're in the southern Philippines are all Muslim. Remember, Philippines is a 98% Roman Catholic country, right? So then,
Nate, let me get you to close that door for me real quick.
Yeah.
Because I don't want the sound to be muffled.
So then, so with the Filipinos being the country being 90% Roman Catholics, I was like, what is the beef with the Muslims down south? Because they were never fully, I guess, not conquered, but it's like, fell in line with Spain.
Yeah.
So I started talking to this Filipino lieutenant, right? And I'm like, hey man, what's the deal down here? So in Asia they have a thing called typhoons. That's like hurricane, same shit. Wind, rain, shit's fucked up, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of those southern islands don't really get hit with those typhoons like the northern islands do.
Oh, okay.
So all your plantations are down, like your rubber plantations, your pineapple plantations, all that big money stuff is in the southern islands. And they're owned by Christian families, not Muslim families.
Gotcha.
So when we went to the southern Philippines, like you go to a Muslim village, they have no lights. If you go to the Christian village, paved roads, lights, this and that.
Yeah, right? So just the quality of life was completely different.
Understanding those dynamics when you're dealing with a culture, you know what I'm saying? Now you see, okay, and don't get me wrong, we have our U.S. interests.
Yeah.
And if helping you out accomplish our interests, and vice versa, right? Yeah. But understanding the people dynamics of what's going on, then it helps you better understand and connect with that partner force and try to see how you can leverage that as an SF guy.
Yeah.
Because as an SF guy, you're going to be with those partner forces and have to kind of get those guys to not motivate, but fight for your country, whatever the mission is.
Yeah, you got to get them to perform.
Yeah. And so being SF was great because I like the aspect of culture. You getting to understand other people, other languages. And so it was always that aspect, man, as an SF guy, that always intrigued me, and I liked it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying nothing wrong with the other soft forces underneath the soft umbrella.
Yeah.
Because there's a mission for that. We need badass Rangers.
Yeah.
We need martial art dudes. We need Marine. We need Navy SEALs. To do their specific mission.
Yeah.
But to do the SF mission, it is so unique than any other soft tribe.
Yeah, gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's a thinking man's game.
Oh yeah, always.
It's a thinking man's game.
I
agree.
Yeah.
So don't get me wrong. Going in on the edge, shooting somebody in the face that deserve to be shot in the face, that's cool. It has a time and place. But as an SF guy, you got to be so much more advanced on what you're thinking, what you're doing.
Yeah, I agree. Before we transition into your time over third group, we always hear that first group has a full of weirdos, man. Like,
yeah,
where did that come from?
Seriously, I can either confirm or deny any stories of me in Bangkok, Thailand. It wasn't me.
All right, now you got done with first group.
Yeah.
You did a SWIC tour. Took you to?
Back up. So I was at Lewis for 4 years. Great time. I got lived to go to Okinawa to 1-1. Okay. So when you graduate, if you're an SF guy, you go to the first group or 10th group. Here's how it went. Half of my class went to Fort Lewis. The other half went to Okinawa.
Gotcha.
3 to 4 years later, we started going to Okinawa, and they came to Lewis.
So you got flip-flop.
You see what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
So, and then 3 to 4 years after that, if you hadn't made 8, your chance of most likely you're going to go to SWIC.
Okay. So did you end up coming to SWIC?
That's how I ended up SWIC. Okay. After my Oki time. So I went to Okinawa, which was off the chain. Oh, I love Okinawa. Anytime you're at a forward battalion, you're kind of away from flagpole. It's just it's different. The culture is different. Gotcha. And Okinawa, because of the sensitivities of the Japanese on Okinawa, was always hard. Marines always fucking some shit up, and the Okinawans don't like us on there.
Yeah.
So in English, what that meant was we was always off. We did everything off island. We were always TDY.
Gotcha.
I was gut, bro. I loved it. Yeah. I got there in May. June, I was in Guam. July, went to Korea. We went to mainland Japan do some mortars. August, Korea. September, Hawaii. October, Australia. I went to Anak. Back then, Anak was like 5 months or some shit.
Yeah.
Came back, went to Thailand. Came back for a week later, went to Thailand again for a month. Came back with the PI. So it was like bam, 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 bam.
Now,
bam.
was your family able to go with you to Oki, or were they still in the
States?
States?
At the time, they stayed stateside, and they came with me later on.
I gotcha.
But the ops tempo in Okinawa is just out of I loved it.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, I never want to leave. This is what I want to do.
Gotcha.
I loved it, and we did a lot of things called JSETs at the time, Joint Combined Exchange Training.
Yeah.
Where the JSET is really for the team to get something out of it.
Yeah.
But we're training our partner forces.
Yeah.
But we were always on the road. I kept my shit packed, ready to go, man, and it was great. It was great, and just the ops tempo of Okinawa. Okinawa is like the island is flip flops and shorts.
Yeah.
And you go in some awesome spots, man.
That's awesome.
So I did the whole Asian tour, man. It was great. I loved it. Okinawa was that's where I was like, okay, I'm really in my groove right now. I love this.
Gotcha. Right? So what made you change from first group to third group once you got here?
Yeah, good question. So when my time in Okinawa, I was able to get because of 9/11. I was able to get an extension, so I ended up doing 5 years in Okinawa. Mm-hmm. But it was like, hey man,
you gotta go.
You got to go, man. You got 5 years. You probably still see my fingerprints on the tarmac in Oki.
Yeah.
As they drug my ass away.
Yeah.
I do my penance at Fort Bragg as an instructor at SWIC. I went out to SWIC, Special Warfare Center School. Mm-hmm. And I got a job at the NCO Academy. I was an NCO Academy instructor. For guys making E7, they got to go, now I think it's called SLC.
Yeah.
I was an ANOC instructor. Okay. Because now, SF, let me back this up real quick. In the 80s, there wasn't an 18 series.
No.
So you'd be a 12 Bravo,
it wasn't Sierra. A branch back then.
It wasn't a branch.
Okay.
You're still a combat engineer, but you're SF qualified.
Yeah.
Meaning, so when you had to go your NCO course, you had to go to Fort Leonard Wood.
Yeah.
If you're an infantry guy, you went to Benning.
Fort Benning.
And a combo guy went to Fort Gordon, right?
Yeah.
So we became our own MOS, 18 series, right? Mm-hmm. And so now we had to create our own NCO Academy because the NCO Academy falls up underneath the Sergeant Major Academy of Curriculum, which is responsible for all PME for NCOs, primary military education for NCOs.
Correct.
Right? So anyway, I was an NCO Academy instructor, and then I kept that dream of going to school because I wasn't deploying, I wasn't going TDY, so that's how I was able to finish my college. Gotcha. I would go to school at night.
Awesome.
I teach in the daytime and I go to school at night. Mm-hmm. And so as I was finishing, my kids, they were in their high school age right there. So if any of you guys got kids, if you can keep them from 9th grade on to graduation, I don't want to move them. I want them to finish.
So the military has a program that lets you
stay
here.
Yep. So it was called High School Senior Stabilization.
Okay.
So I put in for that, and my wife was going to Fayetteville State at the time. She was getting her degree. So I'm like, you know what? I've been bouncing around, I've been following me, so I'm going to try to do something for the family, keep them here. Gotcha. So I said, hey, let me stay at Bragg.
Gotcha.
And so my time at SWIC was coming up, but I was like, hey, can I go to third group? And at the time, you had to get the USASOC Sergeant Major controls all like the movements and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So he said, hey, man, you got to get the third group CSM to release you. The first group CSM to release you, and the third group CSM to accept you.
Yeah.
So, okay, I made all those conversations, those phone calls, and they both agreed to it, right?
Okay.
And then he was like, well, you need to get a rating in the third group language, which was French at the time.
Yeah.
So, like, all right, so rating means you had to get like a 1-1, or, So, I'm a Korean speaker, right? So, I go in there, I bullshit you not, bro. You gonna laugh at this shit, man. I'm on there taking the French test. I'm like, A, I guess that's B. That's like C. I got a 1-1. Like, holy shit, right? There you go, man.
That's awesome.
I got a 1-1. I can't speak a lick of French, right? Yeah. He's like, motherfucker, right? He mad as hell, right? So anyway, then he was like, okay, man, you gonna give me another year in SWIC. So I ended up doing 4 years of SWIC.
Yeah.
But he thought he was being vindictive. Like, no, it actually helping me out because I was able to finish my master's degree.
Yeah, finish
you actually,
college.
You helped me finish my degree.
Yeah, thank you, whoever you are. You know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. So that's why I went to third group. Mm-hmm. If I didn't get third group, I told the first group CSM, like, hey man, I will take the Paycom desk down here, USASOC, whatever. Yeah. So that way a guy doesn't have to PCS from Fort Lewis.
Yeah, and it still keeps you here with your family. It keeps me here in Bragg. And you don't have to go back.
I prefer to go back to a team.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I want, hey, put me back in, coach. Yeah. I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
But it worked out great to where I can go to third group, man.
Gotcha.
It worked out great.
Now we'll hit leadership real quick because you were a team sergeant over a third group. So when it comes to leadership, what's Mike Clark's leadership philosophy? What's your ideology as far as leading your dudes?
As far as leading the guys, man, it's how can I put it, man? It is. I was never always the smartest guy in SF, the strongest guy, the fastest guy. That's one thing I like about SF because it's always, you're always playing trying to, put your A game up front.
Yeah.
My philosophy is like, hey, man, I'm gonna try. If I'm actually do something, I have to be willing to, do it also.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I try to set that example, like, hey, I'm in the trenches with you. Mm-hmm. I always try to take care of my people. I try to. As a leader, maybe you find some mistakes you wish you could have done stuff better, woulda, coulda, shoulda. Mm-hmm. But that was always I think guys who know me know that I honestly try to. I try to take care of them and look out for their best interests. Because if you do that for them, then they will perform for you.
Yeah,
and they have performed for me. You know what I'm saying? And we still keep those relationships tight. I was team sergeant for 3116, awesome ODA, very tight knit team as you can see.
Yeah,
we had the Dustin Stevens Foundation, and that was guys on the team honoring 2 teammates that got killed. That thing it's corporate now, it's blown up, but that was the mentality of the team. And so, but before I get to me being a team sergeant, I get to 3rd group. I go to 2-6.
Oh, okay.
I was still E7 at the time.
Yeah,
I helped run commandos on 2-6. Then I went to 3-6, who has a special clandestine mission. I wanted to get into that, right?
Yeah.
So then I made 8 and go to 1-6.
Yeah.
And so literally,
you got all the 6s checked off.
In 2 years, I went to all 3 companies, all 3 6 teams.
Yeah.
But what was good about that was I knew everybody in every hallway.
Yeah.
And so it just helped me. It helped me settle in, coming from a different group. You come from a different group. Like, you first group. We all know.
Oh, we making phone calls. Oh, yeah, like, yo, who's this dude?
You know how we do.
Yeah.
Hey, SF, we hate each other.
Yeah.
I used to rip out with 7 people a lot. Man.
Yeah.
7 people, that ain't shit, right?
Yeah.
So I'm telling you that we all hate each other.
Yeah.
It is, right?
But at the end of the day, though, it's nothing but love. It's still
absolutely.
a regiment. It's just that competition within the regiment.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
So coming to 3rd group, I'm like, ooh, brand new group, here we go, right?
Yeah.
Who's this first group of, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, I luck out. The 3rd group CSM was a guy named Terry Peters. Awesome dude, awesome leadership guy. I learned a ton from him. He was one of my SUT instructors in SWIC.
Yeah.
And when I was in the Q course. And at the time, they were standing up 4th Battalion, right? I got here in 08. So you go to 4th Battalion, right? They put all brand new people
in 4th Battalion.
In 4th Battalion to fill up the
I remember
battalions.
those days, yeah.
But at that time, though, 4th Battalion wasn't doing shit. They were getting a bunch of schools, but they weren't deploying.
Yeah.
1st Battalion was in the hopper to go.
Yeah.
So after 4 years of SWIC, I'm like, dude, put me in, coach. I'm ready to I'm ready to get my jihad on to something, bro.
Yeah.
So dude. So that we, talked to the Sergeant Major, Sergeant Major Peters. He's like, all right, you go to 1st Battalion for this rotation. When you come back, you go to 4th. Cool, whatever, we good, right? I get down to 1st Battalion, but you can't make this shit up. The battalion CSM is Zeiser. The same guy that sent me with the IV back in the day. Like Sergeant Clark. You good? You drinking water, right? You gonna pass out on me, right?
That's awesome. It's a small community, man.
It is.
Yeah.
But they tell you guys, when you guys go to selection, they're not shitting you. Your reputation starts that day.
Yeah.
If it's soft.
Yeah.
That's it starts that day.
Because I can guarantee you, if you were a dirtbag,
for real, right?
That battalion saw major, it would have been like,
bro,
pack your shit and go.
Exactly.
Right? If you were a dirtbag, Saw Major Peters would have been like, dude, get your ass out of here.
I'm telling you, bro.
Especially if you're coming from another group, he would have just sent you back to that group, right? Because there's no incentive for him to help you out. So let that sink in. Like your reputation literally starts at selection.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Yep. So be a man, be a stand-up dude, man. Be a man of your word.
It goes a long way.
Yeah. Just, be a grown-up, be a man of your word, man.
Yeah.
But anyway, Zeiser was the battalion CSM. Like, oh, man, but he's cool. He's like, he's glad to have me. Like, man, So then I go to, you can't make this shit up. I go down to Alpha Company, and all 3 companies are major were first group dudes.
Oh, shit.
I go to Alpha Company, Rob Abernathy.
Oh,
great dude, man. Rob, right now, he's the UCOM CSM, which is huge, man. Great guy. I knew Rob in Okie and Fort Lewis, man. Rob's a great dude, right?
Oh, everything just lined up.
Oh, man. So I was going to go to Rob's B team because I was still a combo guy. They didn't have room on a team for me. I was like, you know what? I don't give a shit as long as I'm going down range. I'm with this shit, right? And I'm literally walking past B-Code. Remember the parking lot was right down there?
Yeah.
And I'm walking there and I hear Mike Clark. I turn around And this dude named Guy Gibson. He was a sergeant major for BCO. Guy is an old first group guy, 3rd Battalion first group guy. Put me through Jump Master School back in Fort Lewis.
Yeah.
Good dude, man. Like, what you doing here, man? So I'm on the B team when Alpha Company. He's like, look, dude, I need a combo guy on 2-6. Like, all right, cool. Let me go talk to Rob Aco.
Yeah.
And I'll see if I can switch. Like, Rob, I got to be on the team or the B team. Like, you know what? You good, man. Yeah. So that's how I got the 2-6. And Seco had Willie Lubers. Yeah. I can wear his bracelet to this day.
Yeah. Some major Lubers, yeah.
Bro, we grew up together, man. Willie, I love that dude, man. I love that dude. Yeah. He got killed, unfortunately, in a train accident. Yeah. I'm like, God dang.
Yeah.
Anyway, Willie had Seco.
Yeah, when I showed up, he was my sergeant major.
You know Willie, right?
Yeah.
Willie was a great dude.
Yeah.
This is how badass Willie was. And you can appreciate his story as a first sergeant. In a battalion, you got one first sergeant position, HSC, right? Right? HSC, in the battalion. That guy in the first sergeant position, they're groomed, he's going to make sergeant major.
Correct.
You know how it works, right? Yeah. So, Willie was a first group guy, just like me. Come to third group first time and just kills it. Kicks ass. Everybody loves Willie. Willie was that dude. Willie was that dude. Willie took the first sergeant job
from other third groupers.
And nobody had any heartburn with it.
Yeah,
everybody was cool with it.
I didn't realize he was a third.
He was a first group guy.
Yeah, I didn't realize he was first group.
Yeah,
I thought he grew up in.
No, me and Willie grew up in Lewis and Okie together.
Oh.
That's how much respect people have for Willie.
Yeah,
you know that's very tribal.
Oh yeah,
that's way tribal.
It is.
How the fuck you gonna give a first sergeant slot to a first group dude
when you got third
group dudes the whole time, right?
Yeah,
you know how that shit can go sideways.
That's rare. Yeah,
that's how much respect Willie had.
Yeah,
Willie was man. I love that dude, man.
Yeah.
I to this day I wear his bracelet, man. I love that dude, man. So Willie had C Company. So when I went to C Company, went to 3-6, my boy Willie, right? I'm good. Then I make 8, and I'm a Halo dude, right? So I'm thinking I'm gonna take the Halo team. He said, "No, man, 1-6, that's the team you got to go to, man." I'm like, "All right, cool," and it worked out great.
Yeah.
ODA 3116, man, just solid dudes, man. You already know their rep, man.
Oh yeah.
Solid dudes,
majority
man.
of them. Yeah.
You already know these dudes are like just pipe hitters, man.
Just first battalion as a whole.
Oh yeah, first battalion. No doubt. Hey,
nothing against the other battalions, but first battalion is like,
first battalion was that spot, man.
Yeah,
it worked out great for me.
Yeah,
and I had I learned so much, and I'm kind of glad that I ended up going to 2-6 as a combo guy first, because remember, I did OEFP. We did some limited kinetic stuff because the restrictions that were on us in the Philippines. But, I'm going to Afghanistan. So now, this is post 9/11. I was in SF before the war. After the war, that's why I give so much respect to these guys coming in. Because, like, hey, man, dudes are ready to get after it.
Oh, yeah.
You're getting after it, right?
Yeah.
And so, third group for number one was like, man, we don't do chases, man.
Yeah.
We get out, this.
Yeah. We're on the fight.
Homie. Yeah.
Like, we're a combat group. You know what I mean?
Like, for real, right?
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
Dude, that's all, bro. We all about that life, man.
Yeah.
So, not that the other groups aren't, but, like, bro, third group was about that life, man. And so, going to that first rotation as just a regular team guy, I kind of got my feet up underneath me, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To, figure things out. Because, come from SWIC and go right to be a team sergeant, it's just, that learning curve is like this.
Oh, yeah.
You've been out of it for a minute, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly, yeah.
It can be detrimental, right? And so by the time I became a team sergeant, I already had, I kind of got my feet up underneath my belt, you know what I'm saying, and kind of got my wits about me combat wise, which helped out tremendously, you know what I'm saying. Yeah. And even as a team sergeant, I still didn't know everything, man.
Yeah.
It's just, bro, it was just, man, my time at third group, man, I loved it.
Yeah.
Timeline wise, I got 6 years in 10th group, I got 9 years in first group, and I got 10 years in third group.
That's amazing.
And 6 of those years was as a contractor working at third group.
Gotcha.
But I got nothing but love for third group showed me nothing but love, man. It was great.
Now to wrap everything up, Mike, if you can do anything different as far as joining the military, working in all the different groups, would you have changed anything? And also, what advice do you have for the 18, 19-year-old Mike Clark that's currently watching this, that's in Oakland, trying to figure out what to do as far as joining the military?
Good question, man. For me, I wouldn't change anything because I've experienced so much more and had a great career, meeting cats like you, for real.
Yeah.
But as a young guy coming in, if you want to make special ops your forte, I don't know if they still have the H and X-ray program.
They do.
Okay. Or a good foundation is, Ranger Battalion. That's a good foundation to be a soldier. You know what I'm saying? I've always been impressed by cats who served in the regiment. Got nothing but love for them. That's a very good foundation. Good buddy of mine, his son, he's an E4, just graduated Ranger schools. He's a dangerous E4 over the tab. But those cats have real good foundations. Yeah. And then when they transition to SF or other things within special ops, that's a pretty good foundation. But and it depends on what you want to do. So like I say, once again, understand SF is not always because a lot of guys say, we're frustrated right now because we're not in the fight, whatever. Your role in SF is to do so much more than just the fight. That's just part of that's the bennies of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So as we move forward in this country with what we're doing, because we're no longer going to Iraq and Afghanistan just getting real kinetic like we were. Yeah. Now we're in a phase called great competition. You know what I'm saying? We're,
near-peer threats.
Near-peer threats with China. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Cyber is huge. You know what I'm saying? And so learning that aspect as an SF guy, how do we fit not just SF, soft overall, trying to figure out how do we fit into this competition space now, right? Where we're not necessarily kinetic, but we are definitely competing with a near-peer threat of China.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So how do you fit into that picture? And a lot of guys at first are like, well, I come to do this. That's fine, but understand SF is just so much more different than that. It is really, when you start looking at special forces, you start getting to irregular warfare type stuff to where it's a thinking man's game. You know what I'm saying? You start getting to, counterterrorism stuff, counterinsurgency stuff, stability operation stuff, foreign internal defense, UW. Yeah. That's our bread and butter, UW. How to overthrow a power using a resistance force, right? So these are just so much more complex stuff that we deal with within special forces. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So
it's a great career field, man. If I asked you the same question if you were to ask me the same question that I just asked you, I wouldn't change anything. If anything, I would try to, get to it earlier, right? Because I came from big Army too. I did 6 years. That's
the point. What I changed different? I wish I'd done it a little earlier. Yeah. Honestly, when I went to Germany, I went to 110, I liked it. I wanted to do it, but my wife was pregnant with twins. And so once I knew that she was good and the babies were good, I put my selection packet in.
Gotcha.
That's one reason I kind of delayed it for those 3 years too. Yeah. She was pregnant with my kids. So,
priorities. But yeah, Mike, so we'll venture out beyond the beret at this point. Again, awesome talk, and I'm sure somebody out there will get something from it, right? Now let's talk about what you got going on beyond the Green Beret, right? Because you did how many years total?
27 and a half.
20. Goddamn.
Hey, man.
So you did 27
and a half. They feed me 3 hours in the cap. I'm good.
27 and a half years. Good. Now, beyond the beret, Mike, what do you have going on? What are you currently doing?
So, good point. Retired. I was contracting at Third Group, still teaching. I got the teaching bug. Yeah. When I was an ANOC instructor, I like teaching. I like people. I like interacting. I like seeing people get concepts and then apply those concepts. Yeah. And to this day, I got so many people like, bro, I remember you was my instructor. Yeah. I remember, so I got the teaching bug. And so now I work for Joint Special Operations University, which is down in Tampa, right across the street from SOCOM. We're part of SOCOM. Yeah. And we're like a corporate university for the SOCOM enterprise. Okay. So me and you knew SF stuff. Mm-hmm. Now I'm seeing stuff at NSW stuff. I'm seeing AFSOC stuff. I'm seeing MARSOC stuff. I'm looking at all the tribes now, and I'm looking at an operational and a strategic level. Mm-hmm. Whereas, I didn't know this stuff, man. I never served at a TSOC. Yeah. I never served down at SOCOM, but so I'm like, holy something.
Just soaking it all in.
Yeah, but which is great about the university is we have a combination of PhDs down there, and we got people like me who are practitioners, actual team guys. So I take the PhD stuff and I translate it to team guy stuff. Gotcha. And how to make that connection. Because they got the theories and stuff, but how does it mean on a team? Mm-hmm. So one of the things I work with is ethics and leadership, right? Okay. And it's huge, right? And I have my colleague, Dr. Carrie Tyne, I love her, retired Air Force Lieutenant Colonel, but she's also a Georgetown PhD, awesome, smart. And so she takes it from the theoretical aspect of ethics and philosophy and stuff like that. But I break it down like, what does it mean for a team guy? Yeah. And it's funny because, like, well, the SOCOM commander says we got to do this and that. On the team, I didn't give a shit who the SOCOM commander was. I didn't know who he was, right?
Yeah,
and I didn't care.
Yeah, I'm just staying in my foxhole.
I'm just saying. So those edicts that come from up top, how do we connect that to the guys on the team at the grassroots level? Because if you want to change anything, it's going to have to change at the team room level.
Yeah.
And so when you talk about team rooms, right? Teams, you're talking about team dynamics.
Yeah.
What does that mean? And so, I don't mean to teach on you real quick, but team dynamics is when you get to a team, there's a strategic choice. There's two choices that have to be made. So you're the brand new guy coming to a team, and on the scale of criminality to being choir boys, that team is somewhere on that scale. Do we agree?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
100%. Shit going on, right?
100%.
That new guy's going, he's going to either accept that stuff, what's going on, or reject it.
Yeah.
He's going to do one of those two things. And I'm not talking about being a moral, ethical. So when we talk about ethics, those are the rules.
Yeah.
Morality is what you're made of. There's some stuff that Jay will or will not do.
Correct. You have your non-negotiables.
Yeah, that's just who Jay is.
Yeah.
So that's your moral makeup of. So that new guy's going to have to decide, am I cool with this shit or not? So there's another choice that has to be made, though. The team was going to have to choose his ass.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Knowing that there's...
Straight up. There's two choices that are going to be have to be made in team dynamics. So either you cooperates what's going on and the team accepts them, that's the best case scenario. And that's the most... Cooperation is the most natural human thing to do because you bust your ass all this time
to get to that
here.
point. Yeah.
And so you're not going to be like, you know what, I'm not going to do this.
Yeah.
That's more likely you're going to like, you want to fit in.
Yeah.
You want to fit in and you want to be accepted.
Correct.
The worst case scenario is you cooperate with what's going on and they reject you. You're just crushed.
Which it happens.
It happens.
Yeah.
In the team dynamics.
Yeah. It does happen.
Or you defect. I'm not cool with that, but they still accept you.
That happens a lot too.
So be like, what do you mean, Mike? You weren't with the program, but they still accept you. Well, one of my teams, I had a medic who didn't drink.
Yeah.
He was a great guy. Guess what he became? A permanent designated driver. We loved him, right? Yeah. So like shit. That's wrong.
Yeah.
I'll drink another beer, right?
Yeah. There's always a spot for certain folks. Yeah.
And or sometimes you defect. You see what's going on. You don't like it, and they don't like you.
Yeah.
That happens sometimes too.
Yeah.
So when we talk about team dynamics, understanding that, then let's break that onion back any further because we talk about teams, right? At the grassroots level. Now, team culture is built in those team rooms.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%.
That's where this culture is built. So if you had a square like a seesaw, right, and that's team culture, and on one end you got service culture and you got soft culture, meaning there's Army culture and there's SF culture or soft culture. There's Navy culture and there's SEAL culture. They're different. Oh yeah. But you're cheating on both of those things. In between, that's that team culture right there. Yeah. And so those team rooms are sacred and sovereign spaces.
Yes.
You already know.
Oh yeah.
We cool like that, right? But I just didn't go in your team room uninvited.
Exactly. You got to knock and wait.
You get skinned up, right?
Yeah.
You get rolled the hell up, right?
Yeah.
You just, so these team rooms are very tribal in how we even deal with each other.
Yeah.
Right. So that's where that culture is baked in those team rooms. And let's peel that onion back any further. In that team room, you got that team sergeant. Oh yeah. The team leader is commanding the team, but all them cats right here work for this dude right here in the middle.
And that's tribal within itself, because as a team leader, I was protective of what the captain.
Literally, right?
Don't you talk to my fucking dude.
Exactly, right?
Without checking with me first. Yeah, right? So it's just tribal. That's an interesting way of peeling anything back. Yeah.
Those cats know, like, man, you come to the team sergeant, the command. I'm not saying anything wrong, but there's some awesome officers.
Oh yeah, 100%.
At the end of the day, he's there for a little bit. You're there for a minute. You know what I'm saying?
And you can even peel it back even further, because within the dudes that work underneath the team, now you have the MOSs. Literally, that's tribal too, right? Because a Charlie won't go fuck with the Bravo stuff.
Literally, right? Or don't have a team sergeant who used to be your MOS, and you can't bullshit his ass. Like, shit, you know what I'm saying? I was 18 that, but I know you can't do your fucking Macabo shit, right? So what I'm saying, when you start breaking those team dynamics, and how those teams are made of, that's huge. That's huge within soft. Yeah. Not just SF. And gang recognize gang. Even though I'm not a Navy SEAL, we recognize team culture. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Which is way different than military culture.
Exactly.
So as an ethics guy, I'm trying to teach guys, hey man, even though we have this uniqueness about us, there's some things that we always operate in the gray space. We're right on the cutting edge of not being illegal, but making shit happen. That's our mentality, because our mentality is to make shit happen.
Exactly.
To make shit happen, right?
Yeah.
So
that's amazing, man.
Yeah, that's why I try to bring that aspect.
Yeah.
Once I bring that aspect to what does it mean to a team? That's my value proposition where I work at now.
Gotcha.
I educate now. Before I used to train. Training means I'm gonna show you how to open this beer, this and that. I'm gonna show you how to do the task. You show me you can do the task. That's training, and training is necessary, particularly when you got large formation. You ain't got time to be step 1, step 2, step 3.
Yeah.
What I'm in the business now is education.
Yeah. Education
is, as an adult, I'm not training you no more. I'm trying to educate you. And so, as an education, I'm trying to raise your consciousness about the subject. Gotcha. Raise your awareness. At the end of the day, am I raising that level of consciousness to where you're like, okay, I learned something now.
Gotcha.
And that's what I'm trying to do right now.
Gotcha. Well, while we're on the topic of education, Mike, because I know you're also a big fan of history. While I have you here, because again, very smart, let me pick your brain about diversity.
Yeah.
Talk to me about diversity within SOF as far as special operations go. Because on the channel, from my perspective as a Haitian immigrant, I don't see things the way most African Americans that are born here would see it as far as diversity. I grew up in New York City, so I've always been around diversity. Joined the military, diversity. So when I see an MOS such as ours that's not heavily diverse, I just chop it up as, hey, these folks don't want to do it, right? But I understand there's a different aspect to it, and you being a study of history or a student of history, you can probably add a little bit more context to it than I can. Yeah,
good point. It goes back into shameless plug, man. You see my shirt right here? I belong to a group called Our Legacy Group. It's a group of black Special Forces veterans who are trying to put the positive image of what it is to be black within Special Forces, right?
Yeah.
A good mentor of mine, a guy named A.C. Cooley, very good mentor of mine, lives with me down in Tampa, retired CSM. His thing is if you can see it, you can be it.
Yeah.
And that's very true. When I saw a black Special Forces operator, it just hit me different.
Yeah.
And it was like, wow, I didn't know we can do that.
Yeah.
And so I think, I know, I'm trying to put that image out there more, particularly on the black community side, because my community, it's always easy to fall in those stereotypes. Like, hey, y'all just a bunch of thugs, gangbangers, what about Chicago? All this definitely, and I know that my community, we need those much positive images as possible. And so a diverse force, and when you get a diverse force, you bring more skills to the table. Yeah. Right?
Before we go down that rabbit hole, let's talk about perception first, because you made a really good point while we were talking off camera earlier as far as perception. Because again, diverse audience, right? So somebody that's not, black is going to see this and say, well, color, that stuff doesn't matter, right? We're brothers in arms.
I get that too.
We're going to go downrange and do work. But you use a really good analogy as it relates to your daughters to explain the concept of diversity in SOF.
Yeah, so what I did was with JSAL for Black History Month, I filmed a project talking about focus on blacks in SOF. Yeah. And I brought every tribe. Yeah. What I mean by that, I brought a black Navy SEAL. I brought a black Air Force pararescue guy. I brought a black CA Civil Affairs Team Sergeant, PSYOP Team Sergeant, because you had different tribes underneath the SOF umbrella, right? Correct. Anyway, one guy hit me up like, hey man, that's just a bunch of woke stuff. I mean, you know that woke stuff. I don't like that woke shit, right? Like, bro, it's not woke. I'm just trying to talk about our perspectives. Just because my perspective is different than your perspective or your reality doesn't negate my perspective of how I see things, how I experience things through life, right? And so the analogy I gave, and I don't mean to be crude, but but once I say it, people are like, oh yeah, I never thought about it that way. Yeah. So I got 2 daughters, and I got a wife. Obviously, you have daughters and wife also. So as a man, I will never know what it means to have a period. Yeah. Never know what it means. Never know how it feels to have a baby or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But because I don't have that experience of life, I can't negate my wife, my mother, or my daughters going through that experience, right? I can't like, oh, you know what? Don't talk about that stuff. That's the women stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Just because it doesn't happen to me does not mean it happens to you in that way, right? And so that experience, I will never know what it feels like. But to be empathetic, not sympathetic, empathetic to like what experience you're going through and how you see things is just different in my experiences, right? So I can't negate what they go through like that to say, to write them off and downplay them off, or to say that, you just being woke, or, you don't like me because you're talking about that. Yeah. No, that's not the case.
Yeah.
We can never, as men, can never experience that. But that happens, and imagine if you're a single parent, a single father, and you got 2 daughters, and they come to the age where they're gonna start having periods. How do you have those conversations, even though you never experienced that? But that's something that you have to talk to them about.
You still got to have those conversations.
Exactly, right.
So the fact that they're not, from the outside looking in, we might have certain experiences that makes us feel a certain way, but it's still our perspective and our experience.
And so I can't negate their stories or their experiences,
Yeah.
I got a headache today and I'm having cramps. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Well, no, that's my reality. Mm-hmm. So as a minority in this country, or Black American, or and soft or whatever, don't get me wrong. It's when I was on the teams, at the end of the day, soft guys, SF guys are like, hey man, can you do the job? Number one.
Yeah.
And if you a shitbag as a black dude, Asian dude, whatever dude, we're gonna let you know.
Correct.
So number one, can you do the job? Mm-hmm. And just don't be an asshole. Can you be a good teammate? You know what I'm saying? And that carried a lot more weight than what actually was the color of my skin. Mm-hmm. But I also had to realize, hey, I'm one of the few guys, because in our experience within SF, I was in 2 of the most widest groups. I was in 10th group and 1st group. Yeah. There's brothers out there, right? So I was always at egg carton. You open the egg carton, you see 2 brown eggs and a bunch of white eggs. That was me. Yeah. There's little 2 brown eggs in there, right? Yeah. But I say this to say that didn't bother me. That didn't, So a lot of people, a lot of blacks, or people minorities can see like, hey man, how they treat me over there? I don't want to go on the white dudes. I don't feel comfortable with that. To me, you guys like me, like we don't care, dude. Let's roll, dude. I don't give a shit what y'all look like. I'm here. Yeah. And you're gonna respect my presence. Like, how can I put it? You don't have to respect me, but you're not gonna disrespect me.
Correct. Yeah.
And that goes into man card stuff right there. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to respect me, but you're not gonna disrespect me.
Correct.
So I'm pretty sure some people didn't like me. Yeah. White, black, or whatever, And I'm pretty sure some people didn't like me because of my race. Mm-hmm. But you know what? I'm here. Yeah. We always gonna be here. Yeah. We here.
If you don't like it, let's go out back.
You know what I mean? Yeah. That's how we grew up, right? Yeah. That's how we grew up with that stuff, right? Yeah. We can handle this shit out back. Yeah. For real. So I'm not gonna let that stop me from pursuing my dreams. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling these guys like that, don't let stop you from pursuing. Don't let that intimidate you. Yeah. And so we go into diversity now, we need those diverse faces, right? Mm-hmm. Because when I'm downrange, so in the 90s, obviously coming from Haiti, I'm not sure when you came over, but Haiti, SF was down there big, right?
Yeah, I came over in 94 as you guys.
So I graduated Q course in 94. Yeah. So 3rd group guys, they were getting 4 months of Haitian, and bam, down to Haiti. Yep. Haiti was big back then, right? Yep. You remember? Mm-hmm. So can you imagine an SF team with some actual Haitian guys on the team? Yeah, that would who could connect culturally with that culture. Because when we go back to remember earlier, what is the culture about? What's going on? Yeah. Understanding the people. And that's the big thing about SF. I want to shoot everybody in the face. No, dude. As an SF guy, you got to understand the culture. Yeah. And you got to be comfortable talking with other cultures. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You just can't be so xenophobic and just just in your box, in your mind mentally. You got to be accepting of other cultures, because I'm telling you, man, there's been cats, Afghan cats, Filipino cats, whatever, that's not Americans that are bad deal. Like, God dang, dude.
I know a couple of them.
Oh, shit. Yeah. For real. Yeah. And their stories are amazing.
It is.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So I didn't know everything. I wasn't the biggest, baddest SF dude, but man. So understand that, because at the end of the day, as an SF guy, you're going to be working with a partner force. I saw you did the video on Niger, God rest their souls, or everything like that. But you're with that team by yourself with your partner force in bad guy territory and doing shit. Yeah. And you got to have that. I'm not saying what they did is right, what they did is wrong, but sometimes shit just happens. Yeah. You see what I'm saying?
All the war, man. It happens.
And you fight with your partner force. Yeah. And if you don't have that relationship with your partner force, they ain't fighting for you. Yeah. You You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that shit matters. When your life is on the line, dealing with that partner force in their area, you got to have those connections, man.
Yeah.
You got to have those connections.
So if you were, and I guess we'll transition to here a little bit. If you had the ability to, I guess, be king for a day, how would Mike Clark attack the issue of diversity? How would you fix that issue?
Well, I think it's how would I fix the issue?
Would it be more recruiting?
Yeah.
Getting more black operators out there to the inner cities.
Yeah, good point. I think today, and I know today for a fact, with the information out there, a lot more information is out there than we've ever had. So if you want to find out about SOF and you want to get into SOF, male or female, the information is out there, the path to show you how to do it. With that said, it's very important to have a diverse population to do whatever missions you need to be done. Mm-hmm. In World War II, I was up at CIA headquarters, and I saw this big painting of this lady, and I said, "Who's this chick?" She's sitting there doing Morse code, and she has one leg. Her name was Virginia Hall. She was an OSS operator, and she operated behind enemy lines like no other. And at the end of the war, she was awarded the Distinguished Service Cross, which is second to the Medal of Honor.
Yeah.
And so, who would ever thought a female could do that to get in those spaces? And so if you have a diverse force, I may need a female for this op. I may need a badass, dude for this op or whatever.
It gives you options.
It gives you options.
Yeah.
It gives you options, And so I would never say, let's not be diverse or, females can't do this, can't do that. There's a role and space for everybody.
I agree.
So now we're giving everybody the opportunity to put your hat in the ring. Keep the standards the same, but if you can hack it, okay, cool.
Come on.
And it's gonna be a tougher road.
Yeah.
Because there's so few of you.
Yeah.
But that's why. But don't let that discourage you from trying to get after it.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, I'm pretty sure there's some badass female operators I don't even know about.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But my time in the military, it just changed so much to where now, like I said, it's 20 years of war, of straight kinetic fighting that we got out of. We see what works, we see what don't work. And what needs to work more is probably, not probably a more diverse force.
Yeah.
Because as we go into these, like I said, these competition spaces now, to where we're competing with China, we have to go in these areas and show these countries, like, hey man, we bring all this to the table, we can help you out. And how do we help you out? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it just can't be one size fits all. We can't be Blockbuster Video and now we in streaming. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And what happened to Blockbuster Video? Back in the day, Blockbuster was the shit, right?
I remember going to get my videotape on my DVD, Blu-ray, or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you can't find them things anywhere.
So
now it's Netflix. Yeah.
We can't stay here.
Yeah.
We have to evolve and always be a cutting edge or
tip of the spear, whatever.
Yeah, all that stuff, man. So I don't think it's a bad thing, man. No. Like I said, I personally have not worked with any female soft operators, but I know they are in the formations.
Oh yeah, they are. Yeah.
Hey, bro, do it. Don't change standards, but hey, if you can hack it, you can get after it, man. Yeah. Get it. Yeah. And I'm encouraging all you guys, get it. Don't let it intimidate you, man. Like I said, I stumbled into soft. Yeah. I lucked out. Yeah. I lucked out in my career.
Yeah. Things could have went different, right?
Absolutely.
If you had gotten on the bus that was coming to Fort Bragg,
dude.
Who knows where you would have been?
Yeah. Like straight up. Once I got here, I was like, wow. And then I was like, I think I can do this, right? Yeah. And I started kind of putting a plan together. Because what you think mentally, like it starts off from here as an idea, as a thought. You write it down as a goal, and then it becomes a reality.
Yeah. Once you write it down,
you feel me?
Yeah.
And that's the power of the thought to the tongue to the reality is real. That shit is real, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, if Jay can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
It's, and I did it.
Yeah.
So I encourage guys to get after it, man. Get after it.
Yeah.
If you want to be a soft dude, or if you still want to be a badass enabler, we need enablers. I'm not shitting on the enabler.
Oh yeah, Without them, there's a lot of shit that we couldn't do. Yeah.
I literally could not do my job.
Because I can tell you right now, if the pack clerk or is not taking care of the pay problems,
for real,
right? If the cook is not cooking the food.
Yep.
All that is going to affect my ability to do my job.
Yep.
You know, and the fact that those guys are behind the scene getting it all done to where when I come off a mission, I have food. My family's taken care of because they're getting paid. The money's coming in to pay the bills. It gives me that peace of mind to where I can go out there and give 110%.
Bro,
so every part
matters.
works.
That matters. I tell you what, my time, coming up as a support guy within SF, I know some support guys who transitioned to SF like me.
Yeah.
Good buddy of mine, I was in first group with him. When I left to go to Okinawa, he was E4 in the SIGDAT.
Yeah.
He ended up being retired as a group CSL.
That's amazing.
Bro, you kidding me?
Yeah.
Another guy I was with in Okinawa, he was a service debt lieutenant. He ended up being a battalion commander out in 1-1.
That's amazing.
Bro, so, but with that said, though, it's we need all the pieces to make us work, right? And so the diverse aspect of it, it's coming about. People are getting the word. They're starting to transition over. They're starting to apply for stuff. So we'll see how it works out, man. Yeah. I think we'll be fine. I know we'll be fine.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I agree 100%.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, I appreciate you coming out, man.
Oh, real quick before I go, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey, shout out to my guys at Triple Nickel that gave me this hat right here.
Oh, it's Triple Nickel? Yeah.
Oh, it hadn't fucking hit the streets yet, but it's the Alvin Cass. For those who don't know his story, Sergeant Alvin Cass earned the Medal of Honor.
Yeah.
Recently, he was in Iraq. He was in a Bradley fighting vehicle. He was a squad leader. The vehicle hit an ID. It caught fire.
Yeah.
He went to that vehicle multiple times, pulling people out.
Yeah.
And he was burnt over 90% of his body. He later died in Texas, and he initially got the Silver Star.
Yeah.
And if that's not a Medal of Honor worthy action,
I don't know what it is. Yeah.
Multiple times, the vehicle's on fire, pulling guys out, ammunition exploding, and everything else. And that was always my fear on rotations, being in gun trucks.
Oh, dude,
getting caught in there and on fire.
Yeah. That's the whole way to go. Yeah.
I was always fearful of that.
Yeah.
And to have that guy do that, and that Silver Star kicked around for a minute, and it just got approved, for the Cash family. And so it's an honor to rep his name.
Yeah.
You see the hat with the Medal of Honor stars on the bottom of it. And thanks for the Triple Nickel for letting me rep their swag. And and it's just stories like that, man. That just, if it doesn't hit you in the stomach, man, dude, what are we doing here? You know what I'm saying?
Let's put Ruben on blast.
Oh yeah, Ruben.
You need to come on to the show. You're next. You need to come sit down with us and tell us all about Triple Nickel, because you'll be the first officer that we have on the show. So
he was. And then I got to represent my group, OOG, our legacy group. Yeah. Trying to put the word out there, to show that the blacks experience in SF is a rich history. We've always been here.
Yeah.
The first World Combat Halo jump was the team leader. They mistakenly say it's Billy Wall. It was not Billy Wall. His brother named Mel Hill. Yeah. Mel Hill, Sammy Hernandez, and Cliff Newman were the three Americans on that team. For the first time they did Halo in combat, they jumped into Laos.
Yeah, Vietnam.
The MACV saw him.
Yeah, Vietnam.
And he was a team leader for that. He was a team leader for that mission.
Yeah, I think Billy Wall was on.
He was supposed to be. Billy got hurt.
Oh, okay.
So that's why he didn't make that jump. Mel became the team leader by default.
Oh, okay.
Billy later made some more Halo jumps into Vietnam.
Gotcha.
The very first time was black team leader Mel Hill. So our first class Mel Hill.
Yeah.
Come on, dude. That's balls of stone. So that night, 18,000 feet into North Vietnam, into Laos.
Was it Nas back then?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But these are stories, man, that need to be told, man. Historically, blacks have always been SF.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Soft, doing SF type stuff.
Gotcha. It's just a matter of showcasing it. You know what I mean? And
getting the story out there, man.
Yeah.
Getting the story out there.
Yeah.
So last piece, I'll leave you this last piece of history.
Yeah.
And I'll shut up. I can talk forever.
Oh no, you good, brother. Go ahead.
So we talk about blacks in SF, right? How we've contributed. So look up the Seminole Indian Wars. Seminoles. There were black Seminoles. So the Seminole Indians were in the Florida area. When blacks, a lot of blacks did go to the Underground Railroad to escape slavery into Canada. Some blacks made maroon colonies in the swamp areas, particularly in the Virginia, North Carolina border area. They call it the Great Dismal Swamp. Those are maroon colonies out in those swamps that they had own free blacks. And some of them escaped down into Florida, and they linked up with the Seminole Indians. These were the Indians being pushed out of the Georgias, the Carolinas, into Florida, right? And so these blacks hooked up with the Seminole Indian tribes down there, and they became part of the tribe. They're called Black Seminoles. You can look it up right now. Well, what they don't tell you is they were a problem. What they were doing is they were leaving out of there. They were going into Carolinas, into the Alabamas, into the Georgias, and hitting plantations up and freeing slaves.
Oh, wow.
There was a problem to the U.S. government.
I didn't know that, yeah.
Look at the Seminole Indian Wars. The U.S. government went down there 3 times to fight the Seminoles, and they never beat them. They was doing hit and run strategies all day.
Guerrilla warfare, essentially. Yeah. Oh, I had no idea.
So Miami, you ever Dade County?
Yeah.
You ever Dade County? Mm-hmm. General Dade was a general that was, they got skinned up for them Seminoles. He got that work. Oh, they named the county after him, right?
Yeah.
Look it up, man. And it's funny because I think some of the writings, I think Andrew Jackson was the president at the time. Mm-hmm. He said, these aren't Indian wars. We're fighting blacks.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're about that life.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's a black famous Seminole Indian chief called John Horse. Mm-hmm. Look him up.
John Horse.
So what the U.S. government started doing was start hitting their food sources and their livestock, trying to starve them out. Mm-hmm. So John Horse made a treaty with the U.S. government to, hey, we will go to the Indian Territory, which was in present-day Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. You ever heard the trail called the Trail of Tears?
Yes.
A lot of Indians were pushed out to Oklahoma territories, right? Mm-hmm. So this work gets personal with me. So I did Ancestry.com, and my grandmother on my mother's side, she was born in a town called Wewokie, Oklahoma. It's in Seminole County. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay. And so like, it said Indian Territory. So some of those Indians who got pushed on the Trail of Tears did have slaves. Some mm-hmm. Indians did have slaves. Mm-hmm. So I didn't know if she was her people were slaves of Indians. I didn't know. I didn't know anything about the Black Seminoles.
Yeah.
Anyway, this brother named John Horse, he made a treaty with the U.S. government. They left out of the port of Tampa to go to the Indian territories. Once they got there, they started getting in squads with the other Indian tribes because the Indians like, hey, y'all supposed to be slaves. Like, no, we ain't slaves. We ain't been slaves lately, right? Yeah. And so they would fight against them, and some whites would try to recapture them, try to put them back on, into slavery. So they left Oklahoma territory, went into northern Mexico, southern Texas, and the Mexican government was cool with them because it was the bandit lands anyway. Mm-hmm. Y'all regulate this shit, and y'all can live here, right? Cool. Mm-hmm. Well, in 1870, remember slavery ended in 1863. Mm-hmm. We just had Juneteenth. Yeah. The last slaves were freed in 1865. When the 1870s, the U.S. government went down to Mexico to John Horse, like, hey, look, bro, we know you guys some legit fighters. Can you come back? We need you guys' help, And they became Indian Scouts. Look up Black Seminole Indian Scouts. 4 won the Medal of Honor.
That's amazing.
They were Indian Scouts for the Buffalo Soldier Regiment. You heard the Buffalo Soldiers? Yeah. The 9th and 10th Cavalry and the 24th and 25th Infantry. Yeah. They were Indian Scouts.
That's amazing. Yeah.
And so, I say all this to say, full circle with me, is SF. You look at SF patch, it's an arrowhead. Yeah. And it's the cross arrows. And what they tell us in SF, that's homage to what? The Indian Scouts. Yep. Are you kidding me? Yeah. So we always been about this life. Yeah. Are you kidding me? I'm like, what? And that blew my mind because I'm like, bro, that's my grandma's people.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Because John Horse, when he went to Oklahoma, he established a town in Wewokie, Oklahoma, where my grandmother was born.
That's amazing.
I'm like, bro.
And so she was got born, tie all the way to that? Yeah.
Bro. I'm like, dude, this shit, like, it was meant for, me to be an SF guy at the end of the day.
It was in your blood.
Yeah. That's how I feel about it, right? And so my grandmother was born in 1923, 100 years ago, December 1923, in the town of Wewokie, Oklahoma, which is in Seminole County. Yeah. Those Black Seminoles. I'm like, wow. Blew my mind, man. I'm like, holy shit. And SF ties those cross arrows to Indian Scouts. Mm-hmm. Are you kidding me? That's our lineage, dude.
Yeah, that's in black and white.
And so I say all this to say is, as a Black American, or just blacks in general, or as an American in general, right? Our story is rich. It's American history. Yeah. Right. And we weren't just like we weren't just capitulating to slavery or capitulating to that mentality. Yeah. We were always fighters.
Yeah. And that's something that I struggle with.
Look at your history, Haiti. Yeah. That's the first time in the American hemisphere that a slave colony was defeated and freed themselves. Yeah. Are you kidding me?
Against superpowers at that time.
Are you kidding me? Yeah. I was down in Savannah, right? Yeah. And there's a statue of I can't remember the name of the park, but it's a Haitian soldier statue
that came over to fight with the U.S. back then.
So it's funny because remember France helped the U.S. out for to get its independence from England, and they brought some of those Haitian slaves, soldiers, to fight in the Revolutionary War. Yep. And it's funny because you know what? I synopsize stuff. To me, they went back to Haiti and like, you know what?
We got to take some freedom.
We ain't doing the slavery shit no more. We ain't doing that. That's it, 1804, that shit is on, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It was amazing, man.
You know what I'm saying?
That knowing my history from 1804 and what we went through to defeat the French, the Spaniards. Dude, it motivates me even till this day.
And that's why, people are like, oh, why is Haiti so messed up? No, because the power shut them out.
Yeah, dude.
The power shut them out.
Freaking
you can imagine a free island at that time when slavery was popping all around the Caribbean and Americas. We ain't gonna fuck with y'all like that.
Dude.
You know what I'm saying?
We had to pay France for defeating them.
Literally, you had to pay them reparations, right?
For years.
So,
and then the Marines went in 1915.
Yep.
Haiti's been through some things.
Once you understand the history and the culture, then you show an appreciation of where you are, of what got you here. What's the spirit in your blood?
Ancestors,
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And once I understand the spirit of my blood, so it's no surprise that we in special forces, dude.
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah.
And you kidding me?
We might think that it happened by accident.
Yeah.
But subconsciously, deep down inside,
it's in your DNA.
We slowly gravitated towards it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because the shit that I saw when I was 18, 19 at war, like that could have easily defeated me, right?
Yeah.
But I kept going, and slowly but surely, I found my path, and I found my place, and I can. Because even till this day, I'm like, man, I wonder if my lineage is tied to the Haitian generals that were fighting during those wars. You know what I mean?
That's the first time
it survived. You know what I mean?
In history, I believe a slave colony or slave island, whatever, freed themselves.
Yeah,
I don't know.
No, you're good. But yeah, man. I mean, we can sit here and talk about history for days, man. There's just so much out there that folks just have to do their research on. Because even now, like I'm still learning about not only Haitian history, but also American history. Trying to educate myself, not only for myself, but so I can teach my kids. Like it's information that as technology evolves and we get on these different apps, we're gonna lose the thirst for knowledge. So it's up to us to make sure that our kids know where to find it. But yeah, Mike, I appreciate you coming down, man. Any last words for the folks before we call this thing?
No, man, it was an honor to speak at your platform. I've been following you for a couple of months. Really impressed with what you do.
Thank you.
And I'm glad you're getting the word out to all people, man. Like, hey, man, it's not just being an SF guy, but it's like whatever your dream is, whatever your challenge is, you got to go through some shit to get there.
Yeah.
It ain't going to be easy.
No.
But you got to do it.
Exactly.
You got to make it happen.
I agree.
You got to make it happen. So, you hit something earlier about the mentality aspect of it, which is true. The mentality aspect plays a big part of it to never quitting, following through in your dreams. You know what I'm saying? Think of it in your mind, let it come to fruition on your tongue, and put it out there, write it down, and now you have a commitment. You got to do it.
Yeah.
You got to do it. You got to do it. So I tell guys, man, if I can make it, like I'm nobody special in that stuff. If I can make it, you can make it too, bro.
Yeah, I agree.
100%, man.
Yeah. But yeah, I appreciate you coming on, Mike. The video you did with J-Sal, we'll throw the link in the description below so the guys can go check it out.
Appreciate it.
And see what you guys spoke about. It's in 2 parts. You had a part 1 and a part 2.
Yes, sir.
So I'll put the link in the description below, guys. Make sure you guys go check it out. If you have any questions for Mike, just leave it in the comment section, guys. I'll get it to him for you, and I'll get you guys an answer. All right? I appreciate you guys tuning in. Until next time, take care of yourself.
My brother. I get some love on the screen. My dude.